All right, so our next main topic today is going to be about Tom Cruise and Doug Lyman have seemingly, perhaps, found a either distributor or a film studio in general who is willing to make a movie with him in outer space. And this is not just a outer space movie. Tom Cruise literally wants to partner with SpaceX and old Elon Musk and
Old
actually
Muskie.
go to space and film a movie. That's pretty much all the news we have on it, but it looks like Universal Studios is actually in early discussions to help produce and get this movie made with Tom Cruise. And I know, Rick, when I brought this article up to you, you had not known about Tom Cruise's plans to do this in general,
No.
right? So I think that's really what we want to
it's
talk
very
about
Tom
here.
Cruise.
It is. I mean, he literally, for the new Top Gun movie, he went out and learned how to fly. The production on Top Gun Maverick literally had to be delayed because he wanted to fly the fighter jet himself. So he had to go and get the training necessary
Very
to
easy.
be able to fly an actual fighter jet
Yeah,
for the movie.
that's fucking crazy.
No, it's fucking insane, dude. Like, he's crazy, man. I
It
mean,
really is.
I would love to do all the stuff that he does, but in the end, what's enough? What's too much? What?
That's a lot to put at risk for a movie.
It is, because that's the thing too. You gotta keep this in mind too. A lot of people don't think about this. Like, it's cool that Tom Cruise does his own stunts, and you can get a lot of like good shots. Like, it's always good when you have an actor with enough like physical talent to be in frame as much as possible, right? Like having Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible Fallout or whatever, like doing that bathroom scene with that I forget his name, the guy they were fighting in the bathroom. I forget. But having all of them actually in frame because they're doing all the stunts, like that's what you want. Because the problem you have when you have actors who like aren't capable or willing to do like more stunts like that, or even just choreography, like the fight scenes and everything. That's when you end up with your choppy, quick cut, fight scene footage. Like, just to use an example, that Matt Damon, I know, did a lot of the stunts in the Bourne series, but that's where that quick cut, shaky cam bullshit came from.
Kind of covers up a lot of the
Yeah, and that's what you do when you need to hide stuff. In like dark scenes, for instance, too. It's another thing. Like, if you don't have the budget for good CGI effects, or you want to hide some choreography or everything, you shoot it at night. I mean, it just lets you get away with a little bit more than the bathroom scene in Mission Impossible Fallout, for instance. It was brightly lit with white background, like, because all the actors were there doing all the hits themselves. So you get a lot of good content out of that stuff. So I commend any filmmaker or artist who is capable and willing to do that kind of stuff, because as a viewer, it doesn't take me out of the movie. Because that's the one thing I like, when you know that the stunt double's there, it takes you out of the movie ever so slightly. But when all of a sudden the camera cuts to a behind shot and you can tell it's not Tom Cruise there, it's gonna take you out of the movie for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of nitpicky shit.
But I get it.
But you know what I mean? But yeah, like, what with this though, I have no idea what this movie's gonna be. But I can't say I'm not extremely curious as to like what the hell it's gonna be. Like, Tom Cruise gonna go to space? Is it just gonna be him with like a GoPro or something though?
That's what I'm saying.
'Cause that's like, who's gonna go with him in space?
Is there going to be a film crew that goes with him? Like,
Yeah, and it's like, is like Doug Lyman gonna go to space too? Like,
it's a lot to do for a movie.
It is, because
but it's revolutionary at the same time.
He'll forever always be able to say that he was the first dude to have he made the first movie in space.
Actor, yeah.
Well, just he made the first movie in space. I mean, this is what it is.
Well, it's the beginning probably of a whole new era of movies, if you can actually do it in space. Maybe.
It just depends on like what the overall cost is of this stuff, because that's the other thing
How
too.
much does it cost to even send somebody up to the space station? Just like a one-way flight up there. How many billions of dollars?
It's super expensive. Because that's why what Elon wants to do now with SpaceX and everything is now essentially that they did the the launch up to the space station. He wants to build a base on the moon so they can essentially take all the parts to the moon and then launch rockets from there
To Mars.
to Mars or wherever because
I just gotta say too, real quick, that SpaceX capsule was cool. Fuck.
oh, it was dope.
Yeah.
It was awesome. The launch was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing. Leaving Earth's atmosphere, just the amount of just the fuel alone is extremely expensive.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't have to worry about the atmosphere if you launch from the moon.
Yeah.
So
You
it
just
saves
gonna basically shoot
yeah, you
yourself.
just woo, away you go. So you just
You could catapult.
yeah, you just save a metric fuck ton of money if you just have a base on Mars that you can take up parts to, build everything there, or at least assemble some of it there so you can launch from there. I mean, that's the dream. Like that's step one of the dream, we'll
Yeah.
say. Like
Yeah.
there's obviously far more to the dream, but being able to do that is the next step, you know. But that's the thing though, like what are they gonna how much could you realistically do? Like, what is the benefit?
It's gonna be like a scene.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the benefit, the true benefit of actually being in space with it?
Think about this too. How many space movies are out there right now where they're obviously not really in space, where it really looks like they're in fucking space? I mean, it's
exactly.
not hard to do.
They do a really good job with a lot of
Yeah.
like
I mean,
a lot of, even
Apollo
the older
13,
ones. Yeah,
yeah,
even
like,
older ones. They
that was
made it
great.
look really good. That's kind of my point with it is like 'cause that's the thing from a studio standpoint. Like Tom Cruise likes to do his own stunts and everything, like I was saying. And it's always great when you can do that. But the studio, the people paying $200 million to make this, you know, movie with, you know, whatever, they don't want Tom Cruise doing the stunt because if something happens to Tom Cruise, now they don't have a movie. And now they're out
Or
two
Tom
hundred million
Cruise.
dollars. Well, that's what I'm saying. Well,
Yeah.
I'm just using Tom Cruise as an
Mm,
example.
yeah.
Like that's why studios don't like and more often than not have stuntmen do stunts like that because if something happens to your lead actor, like if your lead actor just has to do a jump, you know, over a building or something, they could easily do it. We'll say, but is having to shut down production for I don't know up to 3 months if they break their ankle on that jump worth it?
Which actually happened to Tom Cruise.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
no, because it's not financially speaking, it's not worth it. It's like yeah, it's great that they want to do it and they fully support the fact that Tom Cruise can do it, but
Well,
or
how
any
many
actor, but like making movies are expensive, and when you're filming on location, for instance, you're paying the studios are paying hundreds of millions of dollars for a whole crew and staff to be, you know, on location here. If Daniel Craig breaks his ankle, which I think he recently did get injured when they were trying to film No Time to Die,
Yeah.
they have to shut production down altogether because they can't shoot the fucking James Bond movie without James Bond.
Well, my thing
Right.
too, I was thinking about is how many stories have you heard about? And it's not a lot, but still, it does happen where the stunt person actually died doing a stunt in the movie, like in Deadpool.
Right, it happens.
You know, and like if you had an actual actor doing that work, like you
Well, it's like it was a freak thing, but what's his name on The Crow?
oh yeah,
Bruce Lee's kid,
Brandon
Brandon
Lee.
Lee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a freak thing, but like shit happens. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, what is the necessity of actually going to space? Because if it is just one scene, then it's like he already did the in the Mummy. There's a scene where they do the 0G thing in an airplane where you know it goes straight
Yeah.
down. They did that for real. Like
Yeah.
he was there and did that. Like everything else that was like in there was all like put in there, but he
To,
did it. So it's like
to me, it's more or less at this point, it's just like we're doing it because we can, like because it's a cool concept, you know, because realistically, there's no need to actually go to space to film a space scene. Like, I
I think
mean,
it's the only reason it's happening is because Tom Cruise wants to do it.
exactly. That's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
that's it.
Like Tom Cruise is like, I want to go to space.
But I mean, that's why like and the article even says like, you know, um like, you know, they may have finally found someone to, you know, do it with them, like, Tom Cruise and Doug Liman. The reason it's kinda hard to find, like, a company wanting to do that is because it's uncharted territory and, like, they don't know what's gonna happen. Like, do you wanna be the studio behind okay, so let's say Universal pays 200 million. Who knows how expensive this is really gonna be? That's the thing. Like, 'cause if just a bunch of CGI and, you know, the Avengers movie costs $200 million and you market it for another we'll say $200 million because it's the Avengers. They spend a lot of marketing on that shit. So if they're gonna spend $400 million on a movie, how much is this movie gonna cost just to get them to outer space?
Dude, I
Let
can
alone
guarantee you it's close to $1 billion.
that's
Like,
what I'm saying, like, let alone the other just general production stuff, like, not in space. Like, I feel like this is gonna be incredibly expensive, and, like, that's why no one would wanna do it. Not
yeah.
because it's not a cool idea, not because they don't think Tom Cruise, like, couldn't handle being in space, or, like,
He could handle it.
no, yeah. I just I'm sure he could do it. If he can fly a fighter jet,
That's still crazy to me.
now, I mean, most astronauts started out as fighter pilots.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So, I feel like he could definitely do I mean, he did the halo jump in, Mission Impossible Fallout 2, like, he did all the
It's like they
helicopters. He
always
was
just
flying
have
the
some crazy
helicopters, like
stunt, like, for Tom Cruise to do
well, it's just because he can do all the stuff, you
because he
know?
wants to do it,
Yeah,
yeah.
plus which I respect. It's just I can totally understand why it would be hard for any studio to wanna get behind it and pay. Like I said, I don't know how much it's gonna cost, but they're gonna have to pay all that money, and then what if, God forbid, Tom Cruise dies? Then what do you have? Because now you don't have a movie, but you've already paid all the money to get the space stuff to happen. Like, what are you gonna do at that point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm definitely gonna watch this fucking movie no
That's
matter
what I'm saying, like, I'm
no
behind
matter
it,
what.
like
But I just don't know. Like, I'm totally on the side of the studios where it's like, do we really want to do this? Like, just because Tom Cruise wants to? Like,
maybe he could fund it out of his own pocket, like
he probably can to
Oh, I'm sure he
some
could.
capacity. I mean, I'm sure he could get approved for the loan to do so. I mean, his movies make enough money for
Oh, yeah.
like. So I don't know. I don't know. I want to see it. I don't know. Like I said, is it really worth all the hassle if it's just going to be a couple scenes that you could just do with however they do it any other time?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. Save everybody a lot of money, and hopefully no one's going to die. All right, but what do you guys think? Do you think that do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this movie's actually going to happen? Because I mean, it looks like it's a lot closer to being a real thing than it was, I don't know, about 6 months ago when this first came up. So let us know down in the comment section below what you all think.